Everybody. Welcome to the Brownstone. I'm Paulette, owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide, which houses also Cityscape Radio and, you guessed it, Brownstone Living magazine. I'm here today to talk all about giving back, faith, the faith walk, and all of the things. And I'm honored to have back in our virtual studios the one and only owner and founder and keeper of all of the things, Move In Day Mafia, the one and only TeeJ Mercer. Y'all, she has been on the move for so long working on this major project. And now we get to bring her back and talk all about an upcoming event that you, one, want to be a part of, two, you want to donate to, and three, become a part of Move In Day Mafia to help keep some students on focus to graduation. All right. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring up TeeJ Mercer. We're going to do a recap of all things Move In Day Mafia, and we're going to get right into what's coming up in July 12th, that is, that you don't want to miss. Welcome, TeeJ. Welcome back to the Brownstone. How are you?
I'm back. I didn't mess up last time, so you have me back.
She's back. I love it. I love it. I'm so happy to have you back in the building, in the Brownstone. But
and Mafia is so happy to have Brownstone be such a huge supporter, both as business and you yourself at our back, being wind beneath our wings. For those of you who don't know, I ain't taking over her show, but I'm gonna tell y'all, she is one of our fantastic mentors. And I'm so grateful that our students have her valuable expertise, her valuable lived experiences. And so we just happy to be on be on Brownstone's radar with such a big support of ours.
I appreciate it. I'm honored to do that. And just a backstory for me, and it's a story that I've shared with you. Many people don't know. I was a foster child,
right? And
I aged out. And everything that you're doing would have saved me years of trying to get my undergraduate degree. And so let's dig into that just for a little bit, because as my story goes, I aged out, and I really didn't age out. I graduated from high school early. Mm-hmm. And so I graduated when I was 17, and I wasn't going to be 18 until the following year. But in the foster care system back in the 80s, when you're done, everything stops. Everything shuts down, right? And so it's like, okay, well, there's nothing else coming in for you. You got to go. And so the life that a lot of children or students had is officially gone. And a lot of times there is no safety net. And for me, there was no safety net. And so I had to play the catch-up game. And it became either I eat for this semester or I don't. And how do I remain safe? And how do I get all the books that I need? And who's going to walk me through all of the things that are necessary for financial aid? Because I didn't know. My first year in school, this is a true story, TeeJ, and then we're going to jump right into what you do. Mm-hmm. I had 7 classes.
Nobody told you.
No one told me. No one told me. Finally, I met with a gentleman who said, "You're actually one of my students. I'm your guidance counselor." I said, "I didn't know I was supposed to come and see you." So I made a lot of unnecessary mistakes, and there was no one guiding me. I went to a PWI, and I'm okay with that. When I first started, I was at UW Milwaukee, and I still didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue. And so when I heard about what you were doing, I was like, I wish that there had been something like that available for me. Someone to catch me and to hold me up and to give me the things that I really liked and needed. So let's talk about Move In Day Mafia, because the beauty is I made it, right? It took longer than it should have, quote unquote, whatever that means, because I was going through the hills and the valleys and bumping my head a million times. Hence the need for the crochet braids to cover those bumps, right? But the question that I have for you is number one, what is Move-In Day Mafia, and how does it help people like myself who aged out?
Yeah. So just so that there's no confusion and no assumption. So when Dr. Paulette said PWI, that is predominantly white institutions.
Yes, I'm so
The term HBCUs is historically Black colleges and universities. Yes. So Move-In Day Mafia, we provide dorm room makeovers and monthly care packages for 4 years to students who have either aged out of foster care like you, have experienced housing insecurity, or they have little to no family support. So it's creating all kind of financial difficulties. And we have, since 2022, we've moved in 84 students at 21 HBCUs. Wow. Now, before we get that question of why HBCUs,
come on now.
First of all, I am a product of the Howard University. And I grew up in an HBCU community. My mama, my uncle, my brother, his wife, like we are HBCU. So first rule of business is you niche down. And I niche down into the community that I know, the community that raised me, the community that birthed me. And I love this community. I love all things HBCUs. Now, I'm for any type of education that will cost you the least amount of money and will help you thrive. But my dream university was the Howard University. And as a result, I've always, been a HBCU supporter. And I spent 25 years in Hollywood. And in 2020, I moved to Atlanta a week before the lockdown. And because, as you know, Dr. Paulette, I'm an extrovert. And I also know that one of the things that God has called me to do is to bring joy. So I'm always looking for opportunities, especially in the dark times, for me to bring joy. And so I created this virtual bingo game that took off. And then around that time, HBCU, well, all graduations were getting canceled, but I'm really paying attention to the HBCU graduations because I know some of these kids are first generation. They are crawling to the finish line, and now they don't get this huge, cherry on top of everything they've been through. And so I created HBCU Bingo. And that's where we raised over $1 million in less than 4 weeks.
Get out of here.
We gave it to the 2020 grads of HBCUs. And because it was such a big hit, national media, I'm spitting all over myself because I'm getting excited. National media actually picked it up and they interviewed one of our grads. And that's where I learned that when she went to her HBCU, she had aged out of foster care. Her social worker drove her to campus, pulled up to the curb, and just let her unload what little she had and then left her. Until that point, Dr. Paulette, I had never considered what happens with those kids because that was so far from my reality at Howard. And I asked God to show me what I could do, what was in my hands that I could do so that this never happens. And Move-In Day Mafia was born.
Bravo. And now look.
We are at 84.
Yes.
On our 4th move-in season. And it has been nothing but the grace of God that we've had the money, we've had the support to honor our promise. We've learned a lot. It has not been easy or smooth, but when we hit bumps, we have people like yourself that I know are rooting for us, are using that platform to give us more exposure because we're walking with these kids for 4 years. We don't just move them in and then just leave them. every month they get monthly care packages of the things that they need and the things, some of the things that they actually ask for. And it's important to me that because they've come out of environments, as you probably know, that they've come out of environments where they're just handed stuff and it's like, hey, this is the best we got, take it or leave it, be grateful.
Right.
And we don't do that at Mafia. They get to choose their own toothpaste, their own deodorant, their own detergent. They put wigs on their wish list. And I'm like, hey, if that's what you asked for and I can get a donor to buy it, have it, baby. Because for these 4 years, they are being seen and cared for by people who really want to see them thrive.
Absolutely. And be happy. That's right. I love that. And it is so important, especially in those 4 formative years, because we think that they're done. A lot of people think that students are done when they graduate high school. And that is just the beginning, because the development is really starting to happen, and it can either make or break a student without the proper support.
Well, let me just start into that so that people are crystal clear what the stats are. 70% of kids in foster care dream of going to college.
Yep.
Only 3% go. 1% graduate.
Jeez.
Now, let me add another layer to that, because our kids are already beating the odds to go to school.
Yeah.
Howard last year had like 40,000 applications for 2,000 slots. Clark Atlanta, here in Atlanta, had 46,000 applications for 1,200 slots.
Wow.
We moved in 6 Clark Atlanta students, which means our kids are not only beating the odds to go to school, but they're landing spots in these elite HBCUs. We have a responsibility to get them to the finish line. Yes. Their dreams are worthy, their dreams are valuable, and their dreams are personal to me, to make sure they walk across that stage, because they are beating all kinds of odds to get there.
Yes, they are. My God. Some of them are dealing with so much. And I'm just going to share some of these students are dealing with, like you said, the couch surfing, or living somewhere, and all of a sudden you got to do favors that you didn't suspect that you were gonna have to do.
And listen, let me tell you something. Because she's a mentor, she ain't making, these are not just scenarios that she's pulling out of a hat. These are real life, recent scenarios. One was just 2 days ago, where we had to figure out where we were going to help a baby live, because she was caught up in a meth situation, methamphetamine. The grandmother was cooking meth over Christmas. We got her an Airbnb to survive the Christmas break. Then the brother is doing meth during summer. She's already been through 3 different couches, if you will. So finally, we found her a place for her to ride the summer out. When Dr. Paulette mentioned the favors, we have a scholar, had a scholar, because she's out now, had a scholar that was living with a male friend and, sleeping on his couch. And he decided that rent would be sexual favors. So this is real. This ain't play for us.
No, it's not.
That's why I say, we moved them in with Nikki Klug of Nikki Klug Design Group. She designs all of the rooms. She does an amazing job, but it's far more than these pretty dorm rooms that our babies are overcoming and fighting their way through. So that's why we take this real personal and real serious.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Any child that is going through that, trying to finish school, they're not going to focus on school, not at all, because it's, what am I eating today? Where am I going to lie my head? Where am I going to sleep? Those kinds of things.
Do I think?
Can I wash my clothes? Do I have enough to do that? Who can I call? And most times there is no one. If at all, because family is already struggling, like you said, with the one incident, with the family grandma doing something, then the brother doing something, and to to try to survive and do your studies and all of that and still go to school full time is absolutely a challenge. It really
one thing
be,
that one scenario I'll never forget, and it still kind of haunts me because I saw it with my own eyes, is we had a baby who for some reason she had two moms.
Yeah.
And for some reason they just disowned her. It was like, go, and so she ended up landing in Bethune-Cookman. She fought her way into Bethune-Cookman. And when she got to us, I think she was a sophomore, junior, I can't really remember. And she begged them to let her come over to the house so she can do this interview with us. And I witnessed with my own two eyes them constantly peeking into the the bedroom to see what she was doing. And I was just like, and I could tell that was impacting her being fully present because A, she's embarrassed by this, and B, it's like, what, she's in here doing an interview and they just kept opening the door. And typically we call them back, on an interview. We'll call them back for another session to inform them that we're going to take, them into the Mafia. But when I saw what this baby was going through, I'm like, we're not going to make her try to get up another time where she can get on the phone. So we accepted her right there on the spot.
Come on.
Because she had met all the qualifications. It was just an interview that I just needed to get to know more about her and vouch her story. And when I saw this happening, and she literally had kind of whispered her situation, and then I saw it happening, I'm like, people don't understand what these babies survive to get to the finish line. And if we can take some of that pressure off of them, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Absolutely. And so that brings me to this topic. When you are taking the pressure off of these babies, which I am here for all of it, the question that I have is this. So then that means that you, along with all of the Moving Day Mafia members, take on that pressure. So what exactly does that mean? Because let's keep it 100. It costs money to do what you do, because you're doing this full time. Like, this is what you do. Every time I turn around, you're somewhere. You are working. You are working the stage, baby. You are live. You are doing something. How, number one, do you keep your sanity during these times? What was it like when you first started and you realized that this is something that's going to need 100% of my days? And how do I make sure that let's have this honest conversation. We have to. How do I pay my bills, make sure I'm okay, and still take care of the people that's helping or supporting or whatever staff members I have to have, because they got to eat. In addition to, how do I make sure that these babies get what they need? What was the process like? Did you start with donations? Did you start with grants? Did you have to go through any processes? What did that look like for you?
Okay, so because this is a very layered question. So just make sure I answer all the layers. So let me just take it from the beginning. I get on the pole every single day. So let's just start there.
There she goes.
I got a pink G-string, a purple G-string, a royal blue G-string, a yellow G-string. Magic City is my spot, baby. I work there. No, I'm just kidding. Well, not really. But that's our internal way to describe what I do. I get on the pole. Now, I didn't build this because I wanted to. I built this because I was called to it, which is why I tell anybody who says that they want to start a nonprofit, if you are a Jesus lover, the first thing I'm going to do about it is ask you is, did God tell you to do that? Because this is a whole different ball game that I would have quit a long time ago had I not known with every fiber of my being that I'm on assignment. because it's those days where I recognize and I can, give it back to God and say, here, this your problem. Because I didn't ask to do this. This your problem. Where the money coming from? Because I don't know. I honestly don't know. And there's a theme that runs through Mafia that anybody who follows me will know is I believe in miracles. Moving Day Mafia. And the reason why I can stand 10 toes down in that is that even in the first year, my assignment was to move in 13 students at Paul Quinn College in Dallas.
Yeah.
Nikki, the designer, my assistant Latera, and 11 more volunteers went to Dallas. We had $3,500, Dr. Paulette. That's all we had raised, $3,500. But God was very clear, 13 students, you're going to move in. So we get to Dallas, and I'm super nervous. Now, I do have delusional faith. You'll learn that about me quickly. So I have delusional faith, but I do have bouts of knees shaking, teeth chattering.
Yeah.
And this was one of those times because I'm like, God, I don't know what's supposed to happen here. Is this a 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread situation?
Come on now.
What do you want me to do? Are we going to just go out shopping and people going to be like, we got some overstock that y'all can have? I had no clue what we were supposed to do to cover 13 students with $3,500. So an hour before we were scheduled to leave the Airbnb, I go into my room to pray. Because Nikki is looking at me, Latera, my assistant, looking at me, and they riders, that because they have enough experience with me too. But they're riders. They're like, if T said that this is what God said, we rolling. So I'm going, and that's a different kind of pressure too. When you get by yourself to the open to the public, yes, God can do all things. And then you get behind closed doors. God, did I really hear you, or did I make this stuff up?
Yes, I know.
This roller coaster. So I'm in the room going, God, I know. I asked for sign after sign after sign after sign. You delivered every single sign. So we hear, what are we doing? And the Holy Spirit told me to call a woman named Terry Egioma. She runs a company called Trade and Travel. So I was like, call Terry. Oh, okay. So Dr. Paulette, you heard the instructions were to call Terry, but I grabbed my phone and was getting ready to text Terry.
Right.
And the Holy Spirit said, I said, call.
Okay.
So I called. She answered.
Yeah.
And she was in Puerto Rico. And come to find out, she was from Dallas. I had no idea. And I'm like, well, here's what I'm doing. And I explained Moving Day Mafia. And I said, so we're supposed to be moving 13 students in tomorrow, and we're short. And she goes, oh, how much are you short? It took all of me, $17,000. Dr. Paulette, she goes, you'll have it in an hour.
No.
And in an hour, less than an hour, I got the PayPal notification that $17,000 had hit our account. So when I tell you I walk in miracles, we don't have enough time for me to recount the miracles that have happened from that day, August 9th of 2022, to just today. I still haven't been able to release the miracle of not one, not two, but 3 multi-billion-dollar companies are now coordinating on Moving Day Mafia's behalf. So when I tell you I have delusional faith, I have delusional faith. Now you ask me, how do I take care of me? I run my mouth and I get on stages.
Come on.
But my day to day is consumed with Mafia because it's my assignment for now. Now, what that may change in 6 months, 3 months, 3 years, I don't know. But my assignment in this pocket is to give Mafia everything that God has put in me. Now, are we going to be a nonprofit forever that is run off of all volunteers? Heck to the no. I do not subscribe to this. Nonprofits need to milk everything out of their people. They need to pay them peanuts, and that we don't. My people, when God says so, will be paid well for the effort and the impact that we have. We will not, and this is me publicly declaring what I have already declared in my private time. We will not be a nonprofit that has a high turnover rate, because my people will be happy to do the
there
work.
You go. Come on now.
Paychecks will reflect that they are happy and what they're bringing to the table.
Yes. Come on now.
What it looks like right now is, yes, we are run by volunteers. But that is not to say, this is why we're slowing down the growth this year, to expand our board, to put things in place, to put fundraising strategies in place, because working with me is already stressful, because I'm a big dreamer and a visionary. So I ain't going to make it harder on my people to work with me, because I'm trying to nickel and dime them and pay them peanuts.
Yes.
I am always going to be Mafia through and through, which matter of fact, I did an interview yesterday, and the young man asked me about my fashion. What fashion? You're going to always catch me in some kind of Mafia shirt, reflecting that I love me some HBCU. And I'm done. I'm dressed.
Yeah. That's it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And your undying faith, your crazy faith, and the amount of energy that you bring into every room has been infectious for not just me, right? Because I told you, anything you read, I'm gonna stop and read, be like, okay, Lord, you want me to stop and read this? I'm gonna read this, because she really speaking to my spirit right now on everything that's happening. And it's almost as if so many people that you have connected with are parallel and literally are water walkers. Okay. And that's what I love about everything that you exemplify, because some people take the 501c3 status or the nonprofit status and they're really trying to profit. And you are still 100% about how we going to get these babies together for these next 4 years. Who do we need to call? And to realize, first of all, let's talk about the fact that the more that you get on stages, the more people are finding out about you, right? Which is a blessing in and of itself. Okay. So when you are sitting here and you're saying, listen, this is what we need, and people are like, we got you.
Yeah.
That has to be an amazing feeling, to know that people have you on their mind and in their conversations, and your name is being spoken in rooms that you ain't even been in. Right. And they're like, yeah, y'all heard about it.
My favorite phrase is "I got you." When I ask somebody for something, when they respond just "I got you," and I know it's coming from a person that, well, it's done. I ain't got to worry about this no more.
Right.
I ain't got to think about it. Like, one of my dreams was, and even before Mafia, was that Samsung would become a sponsor, Best Buy would become a sponsor. For 10 years, I used the hashtag Samsung is my sponsor. They just don't know it yet. And I use the hashtag Best Buy as my sponsor. They just don't know it yet. I was using this hashtag when I was still working in TV, having no clue what I would even want them to sponsor. God just had put that in my spirit, and I believed it, and I held on to it. Samsung is my favorite brand. Best Buy is my favorite store. And so fast forward 10 years, Samsung is my sponsor. Best Buy is my sponsor. And so with my Best Buy connection now, they have become a tremendous asset. They just announced they were giving us $30,000 this year. Now, me and my crazy butt, no, I'm grateful. Absolutely grateful. Screamed at the top of my lungs. But my crazy butt was like, would it be ghetto if I also asked to make sure y'all gonna send some volunteers along with that? Because we need the people power. And their response is, I got you. And I knew they had me. They had me last year and they have me this year. My direct advocate at one of the local stores, anytime I ask him, like I just asked him for something big 3 days ago, and his response was, I got you, Miss TeeJ. And so there's nothing that just is music to my ears, because I will always ask. I teach anybody that rocks with me. I have a whole speaker series called the ABCs of Audacity.
Yes.
And it's based on Peter having the unmitigated gall to be in the middle of the storm with 11 of the boys. He sees Jesus walking on water. And this dude got the unmitigated gall to ask Jesus, can he do an unnecessary miracle and let him walk on water? Please tell me, what need do any of us have that we need to walk on some water? And the thing was, Jesus said yes. That taught me I can ask God for anything. He gets to say yes or no. And if I get a yes, I'm about to make some history. So when I go to my people and they are like, I got you, there's nothing I'm not willing to ask for. And especially on behalf of these kids. Yes. I will ask anything on behalf of these kids. Now, I may do it, scared, but I'm still going to have the audacity to do it scared and ask anyway.
I love it. I love it. Y'all heard it first. This was a lesson for the doors of the church to be open, because the pastor has spoken so eloquently. And anything that you thought that you were afraid of, if you ask it, it is yes.
I remember when that first unlocked for me. It's two miracles that in my eyes, this was unnecessary. The turning water into wine. Now, culturally, running out of wine would have, been, a bad thing. But wasn't nobody gonna die if there was not enough wine?
Right.
And yet, Jesus did it anyway.
Yes.
So why would I not ask him? He loves me. I'm his kid. If it's beneficial to me, he gonna say yes.
He's gonna say yes. There you go. Come on. See, that's a word right there. See, we thought we were just here to talk about Move-In Day Mafia, but clearly whoever is going to be hearing the sounds of your voice later on definitely need this in their lives. Okay. So they can always press.
So then I might as well. Okay. So if you would just indulge me. Yes. So I might as well to give them the A, the B, and the C of my ABCs of Audacity.
Please do. The A and the B and the C
is ask big.
Yes.
Peter asked, could he do this? The B is believe long. You cannot have microwave faith when you walk.
Come on now.
It's hitting me recently that there is technology that does not exist for God's immediate yes to you.
Yeah.
ChatGPT, as contrary and what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Not contradictory. People are battling over the ethics and what's the word?
Yeah. And I can't.
Controversial.
It's
controversial. That's the menopause brain kicking in.
I was going to say that sounds like Perry.
So as controversial as it is, I have done some damage because of ChatGPT. The technology did not exist for me to walk out this calling fully 5 years, not even last year. And yet I get so much done because I use it as an ethical tool. The key,
that part,
ethical. I use it as an ethical tool. But yet, going back to the believe long, remember I said I believed for 10 years. Samsung would be my sponsor. Best Buy would be my sponsor. Another 10-year believe long. was 10 years ago. I said, I want to do an HBCU commencement address. 10 years. 2 years ago, I started getting louder about that desire and just mentioning it on social media. How about 3 weeks ago, I stood 10 toes down as the commencement speaker for the largest graduating class of Jarvis Christian University. People are still sending me messages about a talk that I did 3 weeks ago, showing me their notes that they took, talking about the takeaways that they took. 10 years though. A prayer that I prayed 15 years ago. I'm giving you examples for believing long. 15 years ago, I sat in my bed in Los Angeles. Out of the blue, I just told God, I want to travel around, hug a bunch of people, and surprise them. I have no idea what that meant. I felt so stupid, Dr. Paulette, but I knew that that's what my heart was screaming for. But I just was like, okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know if I need to go get a master's or a PhD in surpriseology. Like, I don't know what that means, but I do know that God does. What do I do for a living in 2025? I travel to HBCUs. I hug a bunch of HBCU students, and I surprise them with dorm room makeovers. You must believe long. And then C, collaborate in community. I just found out that I will be giving my second TED Talk in September. The first thing out of my mouth in my submission video was, I am needy. And I explained to them, I don't know where this idea of being needy was a bad thing. I have accomplished so much because I have the audacity to understand I must collaborate. I must ask for help. I hate the term self-made. I am community made. I am God made. I did not get anywhere by myself. So I must collaborate. Ask big, believe long, collaborate in community, and then I'll push a button and go ahead and give you the D. You gotta have the audacity to do it scared.
Ooh, come on now.
Give you the whole plan. He won't necessarily give you step 2. You've got to have the audacity to do the next step scared. Knees shaking, teeth chattering. Still do it. So there you go. Thank you for indulging me. The doors of the church are now open. Will there be one?
Will there be one? Let him come. Let him come. Let him come. Amen. To the altar. Yes. If you would like prayer, the deacons will be in the deaconess. Bring them to the front. Yes. All the things. Yes. And listen, you don't know. We're going to talk about this after this recording. So you have no idea how on time. He's an on time God. Yes, he is. Oh, an on time God. Yes, he is. Come on now. May not come when you want him, but he'll be there right on time. On time, God. Yes, he is. On time, every single time. Y'all, she said, ask big, believe long, collaborate in community, and do it scared. There you go. Hey, you can drop the mic right now. We can go ahead and close it down. But that's not why we're here. Believe it or not. This was just the appetizer.
But that's the insight of how I unapologetically walk in miracles. Yeah. I own that. I walk in miracles. I don't play that down. I've got too many receipts to back up that I do. But if you want to know how, those are the first 4 letters of the alphabet. There's a whole alphabet attached to the ABCs of audacity.
My goodness.
But that's the A, the B, the C, and the D.
Listen, TeeJ Mercer has been dropping nuggets, and we're still not done. Let's talk about this because, honey, we have to talk about this event that you got coming up. Let's go there.
Yes.
Let's talk about. Let's go ahead and pull it up. This right here. Let's talk about HBCU Bingo.
Yes, so that is our very first in-person fundraiser. So earlier I mentioned that we, launched Moving Day Mafia based on virtual HBCU bingo. And so I got once again, the divine move that this year will be our first in-person fundraiser to go big in Atlanta. And what better way to do that with bingo? During the virtual bingo, we earned our tagline, "This ain't your grandmama's bingo." And let me tell you, my team, I have worked their last nerve to the point where they have started calling it this bougie ass bingo.
I saw that where it says this bougie ass bingo is a
because I have gotten on my team's last nerve with my ideas of what I want to see happen, what the experience I want to create for our attendees. It's going to be so much more than bingo. And my girl, my longtime friend, Sherry Shepherd is going to be the MC. She is our celebrity chair. She laughed at me when she found out she was the honorary chair. She was like, I don't even know what that means.
But you know what though? The beauty of it is,
but she was like, but I'll be there.
You'll be there. That's it. So wait a minute. Let's talk about this. So you were just on the Sherry Shepherd show.
Yes.
And I saw it, and I saw all the Moving Day Mafia people, Nikki Klug and the rest of them in the audience, not coming out to support, and I watched it and so forth. And so you and Sherry have a long-standing relationship. That's number one, right? Yeah. And she clearly is in full support of what you guys are doing or what is happening with the Mafia overall.
Yes, so Sherry has played, she's played Celebrity Jeopardy for us. She's played Family Feud for us. Yep. Sherry and I have known each other probably 25 years. So we've known each other's journey. That's why when I was there premiere day, I spent the whole week with her when she landed the show, and I started using the hashtag My Friend Has a Talk Show because I've watched that journey of delusional faith, of resilience in her, against all odds. I've watched her earn every single viewer, every single credit that she gets now. And when I started the bingo, she can take credit because she was the one that said, I need you to have ownership of this. You're giving money away. People need to know it's you. Put your name and your face to this because they need to know it's you. And so she has watched this thing evolve. And anytime I ask her to do something for, Mafia or for the kids, it's always, I got you.
That's it. There you go. There's the phrase right there. And I cannot say it enough. You have so many of us that was like, I got you. What you need? What's up? Where
to the point is like, and this is gonna sound strange, but I've always had support, which is why I think I go so hard for these kids, Dr. Paulette, because I know what it feels like to have people have your back. And when I'm realizing they don't have this, I'm like, well, I got enough for all of us. So make sure you know that I'm going to have your back. And I used to always tell my mom that, and this is going to sound weird, but hear me out. I used to tell my mom that for me, the sign of a good parent is a parent that's taken for granted. I'm not saying it's right. But when you're so used to your parent being there, well, of course my mom is going to be there. Well, where else she got to be? Of course, And you know, for my brother takes me so far for granted, but I don't take offense of that. I just know I've done my job as his big sister.
Yeah.
When your friends are just there, it's like, yeah, I kind of take you for granted. I appreciate you, but of course you're going to root for me. Of course you're going to be there if I really need. Of course you're going to say yes if it's in your power to do it. And so my supporters of Move In Day Mafia and everything that I set out to do is so strong that I almost take it for granted with an appreciation. I know that's kind of contradictory.
No. I get it. I absolutely get it.
Of course, you know, I'm doing something that's bringing joy to kids and helping kids. Of course, God gonna send me the people to ride with me.
Right.
You know, and I'm still in awe often because of it. But there's a little bit of me of just going, yeah, of course, Dr. Paulette is going to show up. That's who she is. And for whatever reason, Mafia is important to her heart. So yeah, I kind of expect her to do her thing. And I ain't got to check on her. I just expect her to do her thing.
That would be correct. Yeah. That is absolutely true. And it's number one, because your passion is so infectious. And so that's number one. And watching you be, like we say, I think behind the scenes, being a water walker and seeing you have that crazy, what people would say is crazy faith, but just walking in who God called you to be, regardless of what it looks like on the inside, is so absolutely inspiring. That and you were made for this, right? So let's talk about that. Not everybody can
I want to talk about this because I just had this revelation. Where I had to apologize to God. So not too long ago, I was, you know, always in my closet or walking around my apartment going, God, I'm not cut out for this. Like, why didn't you, if you really wanted me to run a nonprofit, why didn't you wire me to be left brain? All of these spreadsheets and budgets and all this left brain stuff, I'm not equipped for this. And it was getting to the point where I was almost depressing myself because I was feeling like I was letting the kids down because it's too much.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I'd rather spend time on making stuff look pretty. What colors is it going to be? Like, in my imagination, I live in my visionary side. And I had read a book called Rocket Fuel, and Rocket Fuel changed my life. Rocket Fuel explains that for a business to be successful, it generally needs two types of people. It needs the visionary, and it needs what it calls an integrator. For me, that translates to implementer. And I was always beating up on myself, Dr. Paulette, because I am not an implementer that goes and sees it all the way through. Because just the way I'm wired, my imagination is already creating something past what this point is. My imagination is past that, and I don't want to be in the weeds of implementing that. And so certain things were not getting to the finish line, and I was just depressed. Like, I don't get this, God. If you really wanted me to do this, I don't understand. Why do you make it? And I remember sitting right here and God saying, basically, I heard it very clearly in a deep voice, is all I can interpret it as. So basically, you're saying I made a mistake when I created you.
Oh my.
And I just remember it just kind of stinging. Like, okay, I know you didn't make a mistake, but this don't feel right. Like,
right.
And last week, I had a moment where I can't remember what I read, but Kimberly O'Neill, you know our Kim from.
I know Kimberly, yeah.
But Kim basically poured into me, and I just had this moment of, I'm built for this.
Yes.
The success we've seen with Mafia, we went from year one, $20,000, year two, raising $150,000. Last year we did $350,000.
Yes. Come on now.
Not any grants in the true sense of we applying for these we did it because of how I'm wired. When I get on the phone or the Zoom calls with these corporate people, I got them.
Yep.
There's something about how God has built me that I am a people collector, and I use my tools for good. I have the power of getting people on board with me, painting the vision that activates the gifts inside of them.
Yes. Come on now.
Let's put it all together for the sake of doing damage to the foster care to prison pipeline and building a foster care to HBCU graduate pipeline. I had to take a step back, Dr. Paulette, and go, God, I'm sorry. Because he showed me it wasn't spreadsheets that did this. It wasn't figuring out master plans that did this. It came from me saying, I see the vision. Now, who can help build the vision? And let me delegate that, because I recognize that as much joy as I get out of visioning and imagining and everything, there's people that take joy in a spreadsheet of sitting back and saying, TeeJ just told me she wants to land a helicopter on a building in the middle of Atlanta at 4 p.m. I don't know the first thing about landing a helicopter in the middle of Atlanta at 4 p.m., but my spreadsheet and my strategy plans is going to get us there.
There you go.
I realize that it takes all of our gifts.
It does.
Including mine. Mine that you can't put on a spreadsheet. It's not quantifiable necessarily.
That's right. That's right.
In a job description, I just am.
You just are. You just are. And every last one of us has that exact same framework for whatever it is that God has for us. And I think what happens a lot of times is we think that it should be like it should be these cobblestones with instructions on each one of the cobblestones. And what I'm hearing you say in your faith walk is sometimes there's no writing on the cobblestone. Sometimes there are no cobblestones. It's just a pool of water and you just keep right on going through it. And in so you're walking on water before you know it.
And let me help people with like, well, how do you know? How do you know? I don't. I don't. I'm never 100% sure if I've heard God correctly until the thing happens that I heard God say. And I don't know anybody, in all honesty, that knows. It wouldn't be faith if we were 100% certain before we took that leap.
Right.
Sometimes I just need to be 51% sure that, okay. And then I trust God. And that's why it's so key for you to spend time with God and have your own relationship with him, because during those windows where I'm unsure and I make a decision out of wisdom, I know that God can go, okay, she blew this. She made a mistake. That's not what I really wanted her to do. But the information that she had, she didn't make it out of disobedience. She didn't make it because she was impatient. She didn't make this decision because she wasn't waiting on me. She made the decision because she's human. And so then I know that then he's going to cover me because my intention of behind the decision was still in alignment with God. I think I heard you say this. I ain't really sure, but I'm going to go ahead and do it this way. And if it's wrong, you're going to get me out of it, or you're going to teach me the lesson in it.
Yes. Oh, and even in the perspective that you're speaking, what I'm also hearing you say is that sometimes things don't turn out the way that you thought that they would, but what is the lesson? What is it that you are going to need later that you need to pick up now so this don't happen again? So you're not bumping your head every single time this happens. And no, it may not happen exactly like this, but you'll recognize the signs of what the lesson is. Is it patience? Is it favor for other people? Is it communication? What are the things that you are meant to learn along the way? And I think people miss, because we're focused on the surface things. We're focused on the money, the house, the cars. We're focused on what we believe to be the evidence that our faith has manifested the things. But it's not even really about that. Let's go deeper with that, like just for a minute. When I say that, when I talk about Brownstone Worldwide, and I heard you say something that I definitely needed to hear. Let's go here. My goddess, and I hope you don't mind, but I got to just give me just a few minutes. I got to talk about this.
Go right ahead.
So for the past year, which has not been long, I know what I heard in December. At the end of December, I specifically heard, you built it for a time as this. And I didn't understand, because I thought I asked big, but did I really? And then the one thing that I wasn't willing to do, I'm just going to go ahead and put my faith business out there, was I wasn't willing to believe long. And I think that even in all of the things and being around all the people that we know in the circles that we're in, right? You're seeing people do the things, and no one knows their walk. No one knows the experiences they've had. And you know, Paulette has to show up, right? She's made a decision that she's going to show up, but God, when? And I say, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start putting my resume in. Y'all, this is for somebody. I don't know who it's for. That's why I'm telling my business. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put that resume in. I've been trying to put my resume in for 3 years. Let's talk about that. 3 years. Nothing. We're talking 30 plus years in advertising and marketing and business ethics, which is what my doctorate is.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
30 plus years. I went from entertainment to advertising and marketing and communications. I have an MBA, all the things, right? I thought it was going to be easy. And while that's going on, it's waking you up at night. Let's have that conversation. It's waking you up at night. Won't let you rest.
Yeah.
It makes you get up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock and you just put your head on the pillow, right? And then you're getting up and you're saying, okay, God, what we going to do today? And then you sit down and you're writing it out. And then all of a sudden it's like, now, wait a minute. Now I've been doing this for a little while now, Lord, but you're not done building. Keep building, because you got to believe long. And that's what I needed to hear today for me, because there are many, many times that I sit up and I say, you know what, I'm really losing at this. I really need to go somewhere and sit down. But then the numbers show up and they say, you're on the right track. And then something else happens in the world and you hear, like you said, it's almost audible, but it's without words, but you hear it in your soul, in your spirit. And it says, you built it for a time as this. It's time to go. And you got to move, and you don't know how, like you said, because you don't know. Right. But you just got to know that you know in your knowing that it is already completed and it is done. And what I also am learning in all of these connections and things that I thought I was uncomfortable with, like, you know, hanging with people that I know are absolutely amazing at what they do, like you and Nikki Klug and my girlfriend Dee Page and all these other people. And it's like, wait a minute. That's your collaboration and your community. Girl, wake up. Open your eyes, people. Listen, everything that I have always needed, I've always had, because he gave it to me, because I was the one that was built for this.
Yeah.
Not all the other people that I tried to bring along with me because I was nervous and I was scared to do it alone. It was me. Just like Moving Day Mafia would not be Moving Day Mafia without you at the helm, the face, the energy, the vibe, the breath that literally is he breathed into you exactly what you needed to create what was necessary for all of these people. Because you got to think about this also. When you look at all of the young people that you have helped, look at all of the other people that you have helped, all of your volunteers, all of the people who were trying to figure out a way to give back, like me. I hope I'm making sense. Did I go off too much of a tangent?
No, you make total sense, and it's such a wonderful place to be. And I'm always thankful that God let me live to see 52. So then there are dots that are connecting that I didn't understand, like I've constantly had to apologize to God because I'm like, I'm sorry I gave you such a hard time. Sorry. and the beauty of arriving to a place of, I'm human, so I'll still get scared, but at a place where my faith just really kicks in. I got way too many receipts of having my back up against the wall and then seeing God come through with a miracle. I don't stay sad too long for what feels like a lost opportunity.
Yeah.
Because I always think like, oh, okay, so I guess that didn't turn out like I had seen it in my head, but God, you ain't up there doing a slow blink, so that just must not be the door. With this TED Talk, I submitted for their original TED Talk and was declined, but I was declined with a note that said, but what you pitch seems like it's a better fit for this one that we have coming up. I didn't know about the one they got coming up. And the theme is the power of we. It's bigger than us. And I'm like, if that theme wasn't crafted for me, but had I just wallowed in being rejected, can't nobody reject me. I'm a king's kid. Because so nobody has the authority over me that God has not allowed them to have. Can nobody decline me because I'm on assignment. So you can't decline me from something that God is intending on me to have. I have gotten some get right in my walk. I have gotten some, if God's hand ain't in it, I don't want to be a part of it. Because the only way it's going to stand is because he is behind it. So I love hearing that you've gotten to a place of recognizing there are parts of your journey that I won't say that you got to walk alone, but you got to be quiet and by yourself with God on.
That part.
For him to give you the next download.
Come on.
And the fact that you have identified that these are your collaborative people. These are the people that are called Mafia. Wouldn't be Mafia without Nikki Klug. Nikki was the first person that heard the idea of what I was doing, because I knew I can't do this without Nikki, because my vision is to have the rooms designed, not run to Walmart or Target or even Amazon and just buy a bed and a bag. No, these kids, I need them to be surrounded by stuff that they want in their space. And it needs to be tied together with a skill that I don't have. Nikki has it.
Yeah. Ma'am.
So it's a wonderful thing to get to that place of knowing no matter what comes, ain't nothing on accident. I ain't too late. I ain't too early. I read a post from somebody yesterday that said the timing may not be right, but the vision still is. I felt that thing. And that's why I was saying, to tie it back to what I said earlier, there are some technologies that have not been even invented that you're going to need to walk out your vision.
Absolutely.
So you gotta believe long. You gotta believe long.
Like, you need a whole t-shirt that says believe long. And let me tell you something. Nikki Klug, True story. This is why I know this is more than serendipitous. When I first sat down with a group of us, we were in forgot the name of the hotel. We were having dinner, or it was after the last event of the day, and we were all sitting down and we were having this heavy conversation. And somebody said, I need you to sit down. And somebody else grabbed me a piece of paper. So it was Crystal Taylor. Shout out to Crystal Taylor of Fitness Game. Who else was there that day? It was Karen Baxter of Celebrity. What was it? Miss Creative CEO. So all of these people in the room, and they said, sit down. We want you to write down everything about your business. And I pushed it in the middle of the table. And Nikki looked at it and she said, oh, you're the Black NPR. I got up and I ran around.
That is so Nikki too.
Yes. And she said, I don't know why that came to me, but that's what you are. That's who you are. And based upon day, yeah. So based upon that day, I literally never forgot that conversation. And we recorded the conversation, which I still have to this day. And her voice still rang true to the point where when I first finished building out Brownstone Worldwide, I sent it to her first.
Yep.
That and so to know,
sense. Yep.
Yes, I just needed an extra pair of eyes. I needed somebody that understood and had that clarity. And so since then it's grown, but for me to know that she has been now let me just say this. She, there has been those moments where she pushed so much. I was like, why is she pushing me so hard? But now I understand that everybody needs a Nikki Klug. Everybody needs somebody, right? That's going to say, you know what? If you don't come up out of here and hold your head up, her exact words to me, if you don't get out of here and hold your head up and do what you need to do and stop acting like you going through something, I was like, yes, ma'am. I'm going to do that. So here's the joy in that, because it takes you back to that collaborate in community. Yeah. Because sometimes you've got to have somebody that's going to say to you, you got this.
Yeah. Remind you of who you are.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And the beauty in this is knowing that she's a part of what you do. She's amazing at what she does. And then you also have all of these amazing people that are volunteers as well who say, I'm sending the spreadsheet. You go ahead and make the calls, and it gets done. And these children are taken care of at the end of the day, so that you can focus on what you say is the best thing, putting on your different colored outfits and going out there and being the mouthpiece. That's what God built you for. Yeah. All of these years, you thought that it was one thing, and the whole time he was preparing you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely what happened. I was one of those kids that stayed in trouble for talking. Every first 6 weeks, my mother knew she was going to get something on a report card about TeeJ talks entirely too much. Like, I still have those report cards. And fast forward, I get paid to run my mouth now. Basically, I spent 25 years, telling stories in Hollywood. I've always been a storyteller. And so now I get paid to tell stories.
Look at this. Like, you are living in everything that you asked for. And for those of you who are listening and watching, please understand. This is a lesson that you definitely need to pay attention to. She never said it was easy. She gave you the crumbs that you need. And when I say the crumbs, like Hansel and Gretel, the droplets of crumbs that you need, or the cobblestones that you can walk upon to make it easier and more, not even more palatable, but so that you understand that each one of us has a calling. Answer the call and watch everything else open up for you. And sometimes you'll do it in the dark and it'll show up just when you least expect it. Those are some of the things that I've learned from being on this journey and watching you on yours. And so I want to thank you for your honesty, your openness, your candor, for sharing the experience that you are going through, because you don't know that you are inspiring people like us. You don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, do you have any last words? Because I think we kind of ran out of stuff for now.
No, I think we're good. Being that we're moving up on move-in season, just make sure you go over to moveindayMafia.org.
That's right.
If you donate or volunteer, know that every month from the 14th to the 21st is Adopt a Scholar Week.
Yes.
That's when our students have told us what they wanted for the month, what they need for the month. And we build Amazon wish lists that you can go support and buy from. During the summer, we have to do Visa gift cards because many of our students are couch surfing. And so they're not in a position to be stable enough for Amazon deliveries. But then in the fall, we'll resume back to full Amazon wish list. There's still some Amazon wish list, but mostly gift cards. But make sure you just go over to moveindayMafia.org and grab your ticket for bingo.
That's hard, yes.
That's going to be fun. And we just welcome your support, your love, your prayers. If you end up following us at Move In Day Mafia, if what you have time to contribute, you don't have money, you don't have time, smack that share button and share a post.
Absolutely.
It takes all of us to make sure that we can be there for the kids. And thank you, Dr. Paulette, for this opportunity. Thank you for loving us so much. Thank you for giving us your time and your platform. It really is an honor to have you rock hard with us.
No, it is our honor. It is and it is mine. And it is my honor to serve the students who need someone who truly understands. And that's all of us, So it is absolutely important. Y'all, we got to go, because we'll sit here and I'll get to shouting and stuff. Because now I'm full. So we're going to get up out of here. But listen, this is what I need you to do. Head on over to brownstoneworldwide.com. Don't forget to get your free digital copy of Brownstone Living magazine. And don't forget, it's TeeJ Mercer that is on the cover of the June issue of Brownstone Living magazine. Come back and hang out with us, because I'm slipping in that room some kind of way in July. We're going to be there, and we're going to support, and we're going to show love and all of the things for your in-person HBCU bingo. It is going to be absolutely amazing with your host, the one and only Sherry Shepherd of the Sherry Shepherd Show. So really excited. Very good. Listen, stick around, TJ, for about 5 more minutes with me. We're going to go ahead and close out the show today with one of our new songs, Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to the neighborhood. Listen, brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and Brownstone Living magazine. We'll see you around.
Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Welcome to Brownstone Worldwide. Tips, topics, and talk, we got it all. Brownstone Bougee and breakfast with Vernell. Here to entertain, and we